Şah Hatayi'm is a very unique person in Alevi sort of history. He sort of founded an entire empire. He was the political leader for the Alevis, and what he did is one of the reasons why we are referred to as Kızılbaş, because the headgear that they wore. And he had a lot of problems, some of the problems that we have, of defining Alevism, but at the same time having to sort of construct an organization. After battles that he loses, he retreats from politics, and that's when he really becomes Hatayi. Hatayi is the poet that we remember.
Muhabbet bağında bir gül açıldı. Bir derdim var bin dermana değişmem. Yüküm lal-i, gevher, mercan, saçarım. Bir derdim var bin dermana değişmem.
This is definitely one of, if not my favorite poem by Şah Hatayi. It's one that's like become quite popular, but it says some really interesting things in my opinion. And it's just like the first verse. Muhabbet, bağında bir gül açıldı. Bir derdim var bin dermana değişmem. And that second line I really like. Like on the surface that seems not an intelligent thing to say. Like 1,000 solutions sounds great. But what problem could be worth having over 1,000 solutions is the question. One way that our poets talk about Alevism and the path is becoming a better human being. It's not an easy thing. I can't remember who it was that once said, why would you ever choose to be an Alevi? It's like, got to get persecuted, prosecuted, you got to sort of have all this trauma from past genocides, and then you still got to be kind somehow, and you still got to be good somehow. Like, who chooses to be an Alevi? But there's something worth having in a problem. Like, a problem gives you some sort of purpose. In the very abstract, I'm talking. But Şah Hatayi'm's problem is the path. Why should the path be problematic? Because you're constantly fighting with something. You're fighting with yourself, your own shortcomings even. You're sort of in this path of trying to become like an insan kamil. You have these problems that you're trying to overcome, and part of those problems are you. If you're inhibiting yourself from being a better person, that's the problem that he's talking about. One other poem where you have a similar line that I really like as well is Derde derman arar idim, derdim bana derman imiş. Ben gayrıda arar iken, can içinde canan imiş. Now that's also like a confusing one. So I was looking for a solution to this problem, and then I realized that the solution was to have this problem. There's something about it that makes deep sense. It's the same thing that Hatayi is talking about. And to give your life some purpose, there needs to be some struggle to it. And that is something worth having. In all of society, in all of human history, especially today, we have this idea of achieving happiness. It's just a commodity being sold, in my opinion. It's a falsehood. There is no achieving happiness. To believe that you're going to be happy at some stage is a way of fooling ourselves. And it's a way of keeping people in line, in a sense. That's something that I think our poetry and our philosophy says something against. But it's not easy, like it's painful. But pain is fine. It shouldn't be considered as something to avoid. We need it, in a sense. You learn through negative experiences. You figure out as a kid, that's hot, I'm not going to do that. That hurts me. If you don't have pain, emotional pain, you don't really have life, in my opinion. That's the thing that really sort of drives humans to do things. And that's why, in life, you've got to find things that you're content with doing, that are difficult, that push you, that don't make you comfortable. And the biggest sort of power you can have is a smile in the face of pain. And I think I see this a lot in people that live more agrarian lifestyles. That is a difficult life to live, it's not easy. But they have the biggest smiles on their face all the time. They're the happiest people probably on the planet. Now the opposite happens for people that live in cities. We have, relatively speaking, an easy life, but it comes with a whole host of mental health problems. The story of Sisyphus is perfect for this. Sisyphus was this person who the Greek gods condemned to push a boulder up a mountain. But the punishment was that when he pushed it to the top, the boulder would suddenly go back to the bottom, and he'd have to go back down and push it back up again. And this is infinite, forever. And initially, it's really annoying. He realizes this is never going to end. After a while, Sisyphus has to not be happy about it, find something in that experience that keeps him going. Each time he pushes that boulder, he's got to feel the rock and feel its texture and different shapes. He's got to think about each step he's taking and find some meaning in that. He's got to find meaning in the struggle, and he does. Because he's got an infinite time to this, and that's what he does. And Albert Camus, the final line in his book is that, eventually one must imagine Sisyphus happy. One must imagine him with a smile on his face.